From the back room at Hank Drucker's General Store, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome two legends of the fall, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Well, that's another vintage opening from 1922.
1906.
Yes, 1920. No, that's from 2008.
Actually, it's going to be a red letter day soon because
Very
we
soon.
actually have
Yes,
compiled.
we do. We have compiled all the new openings.
Yes, and
That's
I'm
it.
going,
No more submissions being accepted.
Not only no more submissions being accepted, but no more Bob.
No more Bob. We're sad to say. Bob's moving on to
Greener pastures.
greener pastures.
We have a new announcer, and he will be recording our intros in the next couple of weeks.
That's correct.
And you will be excited to know who made the cut,
That's it.
who didn't make the cut.
And who made the cut is our new announcer. Our new announcer.
His name is Who Made the Cut.
No. Well, people will. He's not entirely unfamiliar to people.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true, actually,
Yes.
if you're a fan of our other endeavors.
That's true.
Also, very exciting news. Wade finally sprung for new headphones.
Yes, I did.
For the last 6 months, I've been wearing no headphones during the show, which is fine because it's not like I'm on the radio.
Yeah.
But we have new headphones. And also, may I say, Wade, scale of 1 to 10,
Yes.
10 being best, how would you rate my salted caramel ice cream?
3.
No, that's not true.
No,
You liked it.
I did. I liked it quite a bit.
Thank you.
I would say a good solid 8.5.
Really?
Yeah.
How Fellini?
Yeah. Good solid 8.5. And also referencing our opening, when is the rest of Green Acres going to make it out onto DVD? Seriously, 2 seasons and then we're done? What's up with that?
Who the hell cares? It's
I
Green
do.
Acres.
I want the rest of Green Acres.
You're out of your mind.
Hank Drucker. Damn it. Also, some interesting, just to kind of cover what has gone on the last few weeks, Netflix stock tanks, the attempt at opening this week's Tower Heist and then shuffling it onto premium VOD after 30 days or whatever the hell they were going to do at Universal. That tanked. They had to back off of that. And then we now have Redbox bumping their price up to, what is it, $1.20 now?
That's terrible timing.
I know.
I mean, you realize the negative publicity that Netflix and Reed Hastings have been accumulating for weeks is enough to almost sink the company.
Oh, yeah. It's incredible.
And yet somehow, with that one moment, Redbox says, you know what we'll do now? Let's raise our prices.
Yeah,
It's good timing.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I think everyone is panicking a little bit, and they're all trying to figure out how to generate new revenue. But at the same time, you realize Blu-ray revenue is skyrocketing, going through the roof. Blu-ray sales are soaring.
As well they should be.
Yeah,
because
but
again,
streaming is not moving ahead as quickly as Blu-ray. People are really catching on to Blu-ray. Finally at long last.
I think people like Blu-ray. I mean, people like streaming also. I love streaming, but
Well, it's bifurcating is what it's doing. It's going back to the model where some movies are to rent and some movies are to own. And by the way, very interesting Patrick Goldstein column in the LA Times. Did you read his column about the movies that people pirate versus the movies that people rent?
let's hear it.
It's really interesting. The movies that people rent tend to be stuff like The Blind Side and on and on and on and on and on. Just general, solid mainstream appeal films. The stuff that people pirate, Avatar, Pirates of the Caribbean, all the giant mega blockbuster stuff.
Well, it's also all the fanboy stuff. It's all the
Right.
fanboy stuff
But-
and stuff that could be copied and turned around and.
But the point being that the movies that people are pirating are the movies that have packed people in at the theaters. So much for the idea that pirating takes away from the theaters.
I guess, although
it's an interesting
it
case.
is. Although it's funny with the streaming, the Tower Heist controversy because Magnolia's been doing this for a couple of years now anyway.
Well,
just not with big movies. With small movies, they've been releasing stuff day and date, and nobody's complaining.
Sure, but Magnolia typically does it because Magnolia is owned by Mark Cuban, who also owns Landmark. So Landmark's not going to get upset because they're owned by the same company. It's all part and parcel of the same deal. Whereas here, you're taking revenue away from exhibitors who are fighting for their existence. And when you have a movie like Tower Heist that's going to open on, you're demanding, Universal says to them, we demand X number of screens for Tower Heist that they could be giving to another movie that might play longer. I mean, you're really asking them to just bend over, is what you're asking them to do. And exhibitors aren't going to take it. Not going to do it.
Wade,
How it is.
we're a DVD show.
We're a DVD show, and so we're gonna talk DVDs and Blu-rays.
We'll talk music Blu-rays, Wade. The Grateful Dead movie from 1977, directed by Jerry Garcia.
You know what? I remember. You remember Entertainment Today? I wrote for them. You wrote for them way back, early '90s. One of the family that owned Entertainment Today at the time, the son of the family, who was the editor at the time, was a huge Deadhead. And I remember him coming back from an Arizona concert or something. He taped, He had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tapes that he would, do with his little microphone from the audience. And I remember he came back from a concert in Arizona at one point, and he said, "Uh-oh, Jerry's carrying the black briefcase again," which means he's shooting up again. Yeah. Anytime they saw Jerry Garcia carrying the black briefcase, that meant he was back on the smack.
He's riding the white horse.
He's riding the white horse, exactly. Anyway, the Grateful Dead movie actually was, in point of fact, yes, folks, it seems to
I
have
like
been,
this movie.
You know what?
Oh, come on. You look, there's some great covers on this, like Johnny Be Good,
sure,
along with their classics.
And the animation is really cool. I don't know how co-directed it really was by Jerry Garcia. I don't, did he just kind of stand next to the other director and say, "Yeah, it's all right to me"?
Well, Leon Gass was the one who directed When We Were Kings.
Yeah.
And
they called Jerry Garcia the editorial director, which makes me think that he just kind of oversaw putting it all together. But you know what? It's a cool film. It is a cool archival, retro, groovy film, and if it kind of fits in nicely with all the Beatles lore and things like "Gimme Shelter," Rolling Stones film from that time. All of that, all the rock movies that sort of nudge in there between Hard Day's Night and Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band with the Bee Gees and Earth, Wind and Fire. Thank you. That's kind of the end of all of those films. But Peter Frampton was in that too. Anyway, this is beautifully transferred. It comes with a Blu-ray and a DVD in one set. This is from the good people at Shout Factory. We love us some Shout Factory. It is a long movie. I'm going to warn you, it's over 2 hours long. But great remix on the audio. And the audio is the most important thing here. The 5.1 DTS is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Just put this out on some big speakers and pump it up. You also get a commentary on this thing with the film editor John Nutt and supervising editor Susan Crutcher, and tons and tons and tons of extras on the DVD second disc. Tons of stuff here. It's like additional concert footage, bonus songs, a little making of documentary on the animated sequence, television commercials. It's just they load it up. There's tons and tons of stuff here.
Very good, Wade.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty great.
No, it's not. Okay, let's move it along. No, it's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon, Mr. Showbiz. Now, this is an interesting DVD, not Blu-ray, from Mr. Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
This is a comedy album.
Yeah.
This is not a musical album from Nick Cannon.
Well, it's performance. It's concert. We're in our concert vein right now.
Well, no, this is his first ever comedy special.
I know.
And I have to say
Isn't that spectacular?
As a comedian, he's a great singer.
Yes.
It was on Showtime, and I have to say that he's not much of a comedian, but the one thing that he may develop into at some point is a good all-around entertainer. Like a good Vegas, Dean Martin-y, a little song, a dabble of comedy, tell some stories, maybe. But I kind of like where his head's at, because it's not a bunch of rap crap.
Also, along the performance vein is a Blu-ray of Jeff Dunham, Controlled Chaos. I have to tell you, I just cannot stand Jeff Dunham. I really can't. This is from Paramount, and I know a lot of people love Jeff Dunham, so knock yourselves out. But you know what? I generally don't like ventriloquists. I'm a huge fan of Edgar Bergen, only because it was great material. And that's the thing. Jeff Dunham doesn't have great material. He's just got a lot of weird-looking puppets and dummies, and especially that one with the green hair and the big cheeks and the purple skin. Not into it. It's really creepy and kind of self-consciously annoying. So, but you know what? He has a following. People love him. So knock yourselves out. Does it really need to be on Blu-ray? No, of course not. But who cares?
Wade, when you think of Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, Eric Clapton,
yeah,
Cream,
yeah,
love the Cream.
Good times.
Royal Albert Hall from 2005. Now this is a great Blu-ray.
I used to run around Royal Albert Hall. You know that? Whenever we would stay in London, that was part of the jogging trek. Just trucking right around that place. That is a fantastic place. Good place to run.
Stop name dropping.
Coming right out of the park, and it's good.
Anyway,
It's okay. Never mind.
There were some controversies about this because Jack Bruce was not in very good health, and there was rumors that the band still kind of hated each other, but they all got together and did this Royal Albert Hall concert in 2005. It's good stuff. Crossroads, We're Going Wrong, all their classics. White Room, Sunshine of Your Love, really good stuff. Looks good on Blu-ray too,
Nice.
because it's fairly recent, 2005.
Awesome. You know what else is super awesome? Gosh, I love some of these Blu-rays. I mean, concert Blu-rays, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Concert Blu-rays is really where Blu-ray shines. This is Symphonic Live. Yes. And yes, a Symphonic Live is just a terrific Blu-ray. It really, really shines. Way, way, way better than watching it on DVD. I am, of course, a longtime fan of John Anderson because I'm a huge fan of Vangelis, and John Anderson and Vangelis, of course, work together. So I'm obliged to like anything that Yes does just by virtue of the John Anderson connection. This is actually from 2001, and it's a huge show that they did in Amsterdam with a full-blown orchestra. And it's just it's awe-inspiring, and it's beautifully transferred and just terrific. Owner of a Lonely Heart obviously is here. You can't get away without that one. But you get other stuff like Close to the Edge, Long Distance Runaround. I've seen all Good People, Roundabout, Starship Trooper, Magnification. It's just terrific. Really, really great and awesome sound. And you know what? Yes is just such already an incredibly well-produced band that when you throw an orchestra in there and then you add the quality of the Blu-ray sound, give it up.
Give it up. Give it up also to Procol Harum. Not my favorite band of that era, but they're known mostly for Whiter Shade of Pale. Otherwise, it's a bunch of pretty good songs, prog rocky stuff. This is only notable because it was recorded in the final night of their 2003 World Tour in London. In fact, this is called Procol Harum Live at the Union Chapel. If you know Procol Harum, go for it. If you don't, there's no reason to watch this.
Yeah.
But you know what? Except for Every Dog Will Have His Day, Whiter Shade of Pale, some of the classics, they were never really my favorite.
You're a bit of a Gary Moore fan, aren't you?
More or less.
Yeah, funny. I'm not such a huge Gary Moore fan, but I can certainly respect him. He was a long-time favorite at the Montreux Festival. And as we have talked about here many times, Eagle continues to release these terrific Live at Montreux DVDs and Blu-rays. This is the Blu-ray of Gary Moore Live at Montreux 2010. And he, of course, died just like months later. He died in February of 2011, so it was like 6-7 months later, and boom, he was gone, which is really sad. There are 13 tracks from that 2010 performance, along with 4 other bonus tracks from a 1997 appearance. Montreux, of course, is in Switzerland. For those who don't know, I used to live just down the lake from Montreux as well. I lived in Lausanne. Very briefly. Anyway, I'm going to keep doing it, man. I'm going to keep doing it. Montreux Jazz Festival is absolutely terrific. And there you get Gary Moore doing his thing in 2010 and 1997. And it's, not my favorite guy, not my favorite music, but a solid Blu-ray, faithful to the Montreux line.
Wade, you know what musical act I've seen twice live?
I'm gonna say Tom Jones.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Okay, I've
Yes,
seen
I
Tom
have.
Jones live.
I've seen Weird Al Yankovic live twice. Last time was last summer at the LA County Fair.
I'll bet he was great.
He was great.
He is. I know that. I've heard that from a lot of people.
It's very highly produced, which was a bit of a disappointment, but it's very well produced.
Yeah.
And this is a concert Blu-ray called Weird Al Yankovic Live, the Alpocalypse Tour. Alpocalypse is his new album, and so here you get a bunch of great stuff from the album, including TMZ, Poker Face, and a couple classics, and I just think he's funny. Fat is on here, which is great. Yoda's on here. Actually, Yoda is what he closes the show with, which is just hilarious. And it's good stuff.
Nice.
There's some bonus features on it as well, music videos, extra live performances.
He's kind of enjoying an upsurge now, isn't he?
He really is. He was sort of dead in like that early 2000s.
Because he was like a thing of the 80s. He was a creature of the 80s. And then after Fat, it kind of faded a little bit. And it just seems to me like just now, for the first time in 15 or 16 years, suddenly he's everywhere again. He's hot again. It's a whole new generation has discovered his Alness.
His Alness?
His Alness.
Good job.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
Ray Charles, live in France, 1961. I wish this was on Blu-ray. It is unfortunately only a DVD. Eventually, I'm sure Eagle will release this on Blu-ray as well. But this is terrific. This is from, as long as we're talking about great jazz festivals, this is from the Antibes Jazz Festival. Now, Antibes is adjacent to Cannes, for those who don't know the...
Jesus. Are you going to name drop more France crap?
No, I'm letting people know where it is. Montreux's in Switzerland, and Antibes is right next to Cannes. Like Cap d'Antibes, the Hotel du Cap that everyone always hears about.
I've been there.
Yeah, but you haven't stayed there because you don't have tens of thousands of dollars of cash to pay the.
I heard that they do take credit cards now.
Oh, do they really?
Because for years they only took cash, and
how genteel of them.
And people would walk through the lobby with these big silver briefcases filled with cash.
Until they realized there was no more money left in Greece. Because somebody had been paying their hotel bill with Greece's debt. Anyway, so this was at the Antibes Jazz Festival in 1961, July of 1961. And there are a lot of great jazz festivals all over Europe. I mean, Montreux and Antibes and Nice. I mean, really great stuff. And wow, this stuff was supposed to have been lost and fairly recently rediscovered. And they, fixed up the 16 millimeter footage and restored it, and it's just such a treat seeing old Ray Charles. It's just totally unplugged, completely acoustic stuff. Great stuff. Let the Good Times Roll. Georgia on My Mind will bring you to freaking tears. My Bonnie, With You on My Mind. Believe to My Soul. What I Say, so much fun. What I Say is just such a great song. He just gets rocking on that. It's really good. So anyway, this is if you are a Ray Charles fan, you will just go bananas for this. This is gold.
All right, we're about 2/3 of the way through the music stuff, and then we'll get on to movies. Pretenders, Loose in L.A. This, of course, is it's kind of a direct-to-DVD concert show from the Wiltern, which took place in February 2003 with Chrissie Hynde. Mm-hmm. And this is great because Chrissie Hynde is actually reunited with Martin Chambers, the band's original drummer, and they sing pretty much all of their big hits, Message of Love and Talk of the Town and Time of the Avenger and My City Was Gone. It's great. It's great stuff. Chrissie Hynde is one of the great rock survivors, and she keeps on kicking, and this is really good stuff. Pretenders, Loose in L.A. from the Wiltern. Good stuff.
Love Chrissy. We also have from the British Invasion series, The Hollies, Look Through Any Window, 1963 to 1975. I didn't realize they were around that long. They were kicking for a good 12 years. This is 22 performances by The Hollies. It's a group I had just about completely forgotten about. Because I was tiny when they kind of fell out of favor. But this is pretty great. This is like everything you need to know to sort of appreciate the Hollies and their place in history, and they are really, really good. There's also interviews on here, and it's great. Some of the songs, you might know these, are He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother, Wings, King Midas in Reverse, which is pretty great, Stop, 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 Bus Stop, Look Through Any Window, I'm Alive, Just One Look.
What do you read? Are you read all the album song titles off the back of the thing?
No.
Wait,
go ahead.
Major.
Carry on.
Okay. An interesting documentary that I'm going to go ahead and recommend.
Not.
Yes, it is, called Composing Outside the Beatles. This is Lennon and McCartney from 1973 to 1980. And this sort of covers the time when the Beatles had pretty much already broken up. And John Lennon was doing his thing, crazy thing, and Paul McCartney was doing their crazy thing. And they each carved out really successful solo careers. But, after Sgt. Pepper, pretty much the Beatles were sort of starting to drift apart. And you saw Lennon getting a little political, and eventually he'll meet Yoko Ono, and he'll go in his own crazy way, whereas Paul was always committed to the Beatles, was always a good songwriter, but he was a little bit more pop-oriented. And this documentary is good stuff because it sort of lets you know why Lennon and McCartney kind of started to split apart, how their solo careers advanced after the Beatles broke up. And it's good stuff, actually. It's put out by the guys over at Pride DVD. It's pretty long. It's over 2 hours. It's good stuff. Composing Outside the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney, 1973 to 1980.
And Mark, do you remember when A Tribe Called Quest broke up in 1998?
They were never my thing.
Well, they weren't my thing either. I don't even remotely remember that they even broke up. I barely even knew they existed. But you know what? Pretty great doc. This is Beats, Rhymes, and Life, The Travels of a Tribe Called Quest. You know what? This kind of blows me away because this was a big hit at Sundance and Tribeca and the LA Film Festival. It really, really just this is a great doc that just kind of wowed everyone at all the cool indie film fests. And you know who freaking directed this thing?
Oh, yeah, Steven Spielberg.
Michael Rappaport.
Oh, yeah, Steven Spielberg.
Exactly. You're seeing Tintin this week.
I am.
I'm so not jealous.
You're jealous.
No, I'm not really. I'm curious, I admit, but my contempt for mocap and just having seen the stuff, I can't. It just looks creepy. Looks creepy. But, no, anyway, this is actually a pretty terrific documentary. Even if you have never heard of A Tribe Called Quest, even if you just don't care, you got to check it out. And Michael Rappaport, surprisingly, has he really has some chops. Because he cares deeply, you know. He grew up real kind of like an inner city white guy in New York, so he has an appreciation for them, and he loves them, and it's his passion project for him. So you got to give some props to the Rapmeister, Michael Rappaport, and a few special features on this terrifically well-transferred Blu-ray from Sony. There's commentary with Michael Rappaport, which is surprisingly intelligent. I have to say, the one and only time that I ever met him at a press junket, he was barely intelligible. And
who's this?
Michael Rappaport.
Oh, Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, he was.
He seems like a weird guy.
Well, that was for the True Romance press junket, and he was like barely intelligible. I just remember him being unbelievably stupid and sitting there like eating an apple and a potato or something, and then Christopher Walken came in and talked about why he always wears black. That's your cue. Christopher Walken came in and talked about why he always wears black.
Why does he always wear black?
Because it's clean.
All right, Lindsay, let's move this along. Because no one. Okay, you know what? Wait, I'm going to move this along. Queensryche.
Yes.
No one cares. All right, Dream Theater live at Budokan. Please, come on.
Oh,
Stop
come on.
It.
There is.
There's nothing. There's
yes,
nothing.
there is.
No, there's not. Lindsay Buckingham.
You don't like Queensryche?
No.
Come on.
No.
Mindcrime at the Moor?
Oh my! Wow. I bet our listeners love Mindcrime at the Moor. It's their favorite. These are the only two things worth talking about. This is it.
This is a 3-hour.
We have Toy Story. Toy Story. We got Criterion. You can talk about Queensryche. Who gives an F?
All right. Well,
all right.
Queensryche and Dream Theater. These are both Blu-rays. So you know, it's Mark's forcing me to give these short shrift. But you got to seriously, you know, Queensryche on Blu-ray. There's a following for that. Dream Theater as well, even though it's not my favorite thing either. Moving on. All
right, Lindsey Buckingham, Songs from the Small Machine. I like this. Lindsey Buckingham is very talented. He's the guitarist for Fleetwood Mac.
Best.
He's almost sort of never really gotten his due as a guitarist and songwriter, but he's just great. This concert was from April 2011 at the Saban Theater, by the way, Wade. The Saban Theater
I know.
is owned by Haim Saban, the guy who created the Power Rangers.
Well, he brought them over.
He brought them over.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a big-time Jew, and actually the Saban Theater is where they
really
do...
with a name like Haim?
Who knew?
He's not Irish?
No. Big time Jew who that Saban Theater, which is on Wilshire, just east of La Cienega. They do a lot of Jewish, high holidays and performances there. But this night only, Lindsey Buckingham. He does his classic solo stuff. He does do a bunch of Fleetwood Mac. I think this is great. Looks great because it's brand new, 2011. So it's shot really well. Great audio. Buckingham, an unsung guitar hero.
And he never gets his chance to actually be a guest on What Up With That. That is so upsetting to me. Huh? It's a little SNL joke. You never watch sketches from SNL. What is wrong with you? What do you do Saturday nights? Actually go places?
Yes.
Be at home.
You're married. You're at home.
All right. We also have Blu-ray of Iggy and the Stooges' Raw Power Live in the hands of the fans. Iggy and the Stooges back on September 3rd, 2010. That's what this is. This is just a rock and roaring Iggy Pop kicking butt concert.
I don't know why he's not dead.
I truly don't either, because you look at him and you just think that is the most heroin emaciated body on earth, but doggone if the guy doesn't actually just give a roaring concert. Lots of great stuff here. Now it's a little. This is not for children, let's put it that way. But really, pretty intense, really well done, nicely put together. And all kinds of great tracks on here. 1970, Beyond the Law, I Got a Right, I Want to Be Your Dog, Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell. Did you hear that? Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell.
Love it.
Who writes a song like that? Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell. Love
Who
it.
writes a song like that is the guy who's on who's riding the white horse.
Yeah.
Everybody's riding the white horse. Okay, enough with the music.
Done.
Da 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 da. Wait, let's do some movies because people like movies. Don't do that stuff.
We'll do that in a second. That's the Miramax pile. Got to talk about Winnie the Pooh, right?
Winnie the Pooh. Now, the thing with Winnie the Pooh is that Disney owns the rights to Winnie the Pooh, and they are trying to resurrect Winnie.
They are, and they tried to resurrect him with this movie this last summer. It's out on a DVD and Blu-ray combo. Even if this does not look like a Blu-ray, it has a Blu-ray in it. They put it into a regular DVD-sized keep case that also has the Blu-ray in it. I think because they are trying to sell. If you sell a Blu-ray, this is interesting marketing strategy. If you sell a Blu-ray with a DVD in it, you're going to get the Blu-ray people buying it, basically, and the DVD people are going to pass it by. This way, you're getting the DVD people to buy it, and, oh, look, a Blu-ray is a bonus. It's kind of interesting.
It is because there's more DVD buyers than...
That's true.
Because here's the thing, is that people would feel like a Blu-ray as a quote-unquote extra feels like a valuable extra.
Exactly.
A DVD as a quote-unquote extra feels lame.
Yes. I don't think that this new Pooh compares all that well with the old Poohs. It's charming, the animation. They really tried very hard to make the animation faithful, so the animation is pretty great. It's nice to see, clean, very kind of analog 2D animation. But for some reason, the writing isn't as crisp. It doesn't have that nostalgic feel that I was hoping it would have. Lovely on Blu-ray, absolutely lovely. The extras are marginal. It's like a sing-along and all that usual junk they throw onto the family stuff. But I guess it's a good reboot or a relaunch. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's decent enough.
Speaking of decent enough, Terry, John C. Reilly does a lot of little movies that...
so much stuff.
It's
unbelievable.
We never really see or care about. He did 2 movies last year that are just kind of funky. One's called Cyrus,
yeah,
and the other's called Terry.
Yeah.
And I have to say that...
Terry is actually the history of terry cloth. No, I don't mean that.
Oh, really?
That wasn't serious.
Really?
No.
I thought you were telling the truth.
No.
Jeez.
No, not in the least.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
anyway,
no.
So, you know what? Here's the thing with Terry. Terry, not a good film, but it was a hit in Park City. People dug it.
Sundance.
At Sundance. And look, movies about, high school misfits who don't fit in, kind of a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But I like this one. The kid who plays Terry, this kid, I can't remember his name. It's this kid, Jacob Wasaki or something. I don't know where they found this kid. This kid looks like they just found him on the street, and he's this fat kid who's mocked all the time, and he's so good. He's like this big kind of like big, gentle, wise kind of a kid. And, John C. Reilly is great in it. He's one of our best character actors, Oscar nominated, like him a lot. And this film is good. It's rated R, so it's not necessarily for every high school kid out there. But it's good stuff. And it's all about, anyway, Terry trying to kind of get his bearings because he's such kind of an outcast, and how he kind of tries to find his place in the world, helped by John C. Reilly, who plays the vice principal of his school. So it's good stuff. Terry, it's kind of an interesting little gem.
Dazed and Confused finally comes out on Blu-ray thanks to Criterion, and the same very, very cool packaging that they did for the DVD, they have done for the Blu-ray. It's all kind of, graffiti art, and it's got little punch-outs with pictures of the cast, and it's a cool sleeve. So don't worry, if you really, really love the packaging for the DVD, and you thought, I hope they did it for the Blu-ray, they did. All the same extras. This is the official 35th anniversary release of the film. I thought, wait a minute, 35th anniversary. Oh, I get it. It takes place in 1976. I get it. See, I was like, this didn't come out 35 years ago. That's a little thing. Anyway, no, this is all the same cool stuff. 5.1 DTS audio, which is not really important for when people are talking, but for all the cool songs. And then when you hear Matthew McConaughey looking very, very 70s and very hairy going, working for the city, That's important to hear in 5.1 DTS as well.
His last good performance.
Actually, he's given some good ones. You're not being fair to the man. Anyway, a great companion book here.
Matthew McConaughey, and I don't really know why I was in contact. I mean, they didn't really need me. I mean, Jodie Foster, you're just kind of cold, so I guess they brought me in and make a little hunkage in the contact. But yeah, otherwise, that is make loud. Did you ever see Sahara? God, that was the worst movie ever. My God, was that terrible. You know, people just keep giving me money, and I just keep doing my shows, and I get in my boat, and I have sex with my beautiful girlfriends and do more bad movies.
Absolutely spot-on impression. That's why I let you keep going. I was like, wow, I'm really enjoying this. Let's see where this goes.
It turns out it's going nowhere.
Look, there he is. There he is in the one circle on the cover. Isn't that great? With the little mustache, little porn star mustache.
All right, Wade.
Fabulous.
Oh, Wade, Attack the Block is the rather energetic and fun and absorbing and kind of cool film debut from a writer-director named Joe Cornish, and I like this film. It's about a bunch of African American kids living in the projects in somewhere in London, and
which makes them African English, not African American.
I guess that's true. And
you see the problem we get into with these terms.
I know it's true.
Yeah.
I wanted to say black, but who the hell knows who's listening to these things? Everyone gets offended.
Because yeah.
Anyway, so they're in the projects there in London, and they are attacked by the little project is attacked by aliens, and they have to fight off the aliens. And you know what? I think this movie's a lot of fun. Got a lot of energy, and you know what? It shows what you can do with a low budget. These guys did not have a lot of money, so they had to be innovative, and they had to worry about story and performance. And the kid who plays the main gang member kid, this kid John Boyega. Film debut. This guy he looks like Denzel Washington.
Okay, now we got this on DVD and we got this on Blu-ray. Which one?
Well, it's a low budget film, so it's not like it's going to really improve that much on Blu-ray. But the contrast is much better on the Blu-ray because a lot of this was shot at night, so it helps the fact that it looks good. The blacks look good. And when I say the blacks look good, I'm just saying the nighttime shots look good.
Yes.
Not the African Americans look good. I mean, the blacks look good. But not the blacks, the people blacks. I mean, the blacks, the colored blacks.
Stop while you're ahead. Just stop. I got a couple of movies here, both of them from film history, separated by generations. And this is just goes to prove that movies don't necessarily get better with time. The more recent one here is the inexplicably classic Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
You know,
awesome.
1981, though it really seems to belong in the 70s. I don't know. This movie is so horrible, and yet I thoroughly enjoy it. I still thoroughly enjoy it. I don't know why.
Because it's awesome.
It's just, you know why
I enjoy it?
You know why I enjoy it? I can't stand Hal Needham. He did Megaforce. Give me a break. Here's the reason that I enjoy this. I still enjoy this only because of Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise. That's it. There's no other reason to enjoy this film.
They were people forget that they did a number of movies together. They were like kind of a little bit of a team. They did a couple movies together.
Oh, The End is one of the funniest movies ever made.
It looks. Do you remember that shot in the end where there's a glass coffee table, and the camera is underneath the coffee table looking up.
Yes.
And Burt Reynolds tries to take a bunch of colorful pills to kill himself.
Yes.
Right, so he takes these pills. There's all these like capsules. They're yellow and red and whatever. He takes all these capsules, and he tries to take some. I think it was some milk to swallow it all down and kill himself. And he throws it all up. And again, the camera is underneath the coffee table looking up. And so what you get is this blah of like red and green and purple capsules. And Burt Reynolds says, "God, it looks like Disneyland threw up." I remember that.
It's great. Anyway, this isn't that movie. This is Cannonball Run, which, of course, is let's get a bunch of stars together, most of them friends of Burt Reynolds, and make a movie about the illegal cross-country road race.
Awesome.
And you know what? Look, this is a total vintage Love Boat kind of a concoction from, really, again, belongs in the 70s. Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise, along with Farrah Fawcett and Roger Moore and Sammy Davis Jr., and Adrienne Barbeau and Jamie Farr and Dean Martin and Mel Tillis, and it just goes on and on and on. Terry Bradshaw even pops into this thing. And inexplicably, they don't really tout the fact that Jackie Chan is in this. You know, Jackie Chan and Michael Hoy, neither of whom are Japanese, play Japanese in this, which is absurd and ridiculous. No one knew. Bert Convy, I know. It's
Peter
crazy.
Fonda.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
It's just on and on and on. It
Awesome.
goes. Farrah Fawcett is lovely, and
Farrah Fawcett, Dean Martin.
Roger Moore looks like he really belongs in a better movie. Awesome. But there you go. It's the Cannonball Run. Now, that's the. Does it belong on Blu-ray? I guess. I don't know. Everything's on Blu-ray now.
Look, I'd rather see Cannonball Run than Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Smokey the Bandit does not age well. But what definitely belongs on Blu-ray, knock yourselves out. Crazy Awesome from the Black Hawk Films collection. Finally, the original Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera. One of the great all-time silent films. I'm so thrilled that they're putting something else on Blu-ray as a silent instead of just the Buster Keaton stuff, which so far is kind of all we've got. So we're finally getting more and better silent films. And you know what? I was afraid that the silent films might get overly cleaned up for Blu-ray. Not at all. This is absolutely fantastic. It's much better than anything. This has been out a few times on DVD. This is easily the only way it should ever be had. And this includes, mind you, multiple versions of this. So you get the original 1925 version, the 1929 reissue of it, presented in two different forms, presented at 20 frames a second and then also at 24 frames a second. Just incredible. I mean, if you want a complete scholarly introduction to this film with every imaginable extra that means anything and every imaginable way to look at this film, wow, unbelievable. The Phantom of the Opera, one of the all-time great silent films, incredibly influential, a magnificent performance from Lon Chaney, incredible makeup in every version in which it was ever released. If you do not buy this, you do not love movies.
I'm surprised it did not get a major distributor
on
board. It's just bizarre to me.
Well, Image has the Black Hawk Films collection license, and they've apparently never let go certain titles there. So there you have it.
One of the bigger releases this week, before we talk about what else we got, a couple more Criterions, Toy Story series. We have Crazy Stupid Love, which is a comedy starring Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Julianne Moore.
Yep.
I like this film. I think that the problem with the film ultimately is that it gets a little too broad for me, and it was disappointing that they felt they needed to go broad. I think that the guys who directed this film are very talented. They're the ones who wrote Bad Santa, and they've now sort of they're off on a directing career. I like them a lot. Mm-hmm. And Julianne Moore obviously is a very grounding presence in any movie that she's in. Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling have a great scene when he's trying to seduce her at his home. Maybe it was her home. I can't remember. Anyway, it was a great scene anyway. And it's good stuff. Steve Carell plays a guy who is in the midst of a divorce, and he meets up with ladies' man Ryan Gosling, who takes him under his wing, teaches him how to be a ladies' man. And it's good stuff. Did you see this?
I didn't.
No. It's... I
need to.
You do need to, because, again, even though it goes in places that are disappointing and that are a little bit the path of least resistance in terms of a comedy, there's enough of it that is good, that is adult, where you're looking at it going...
Awards contender?
Oh, no, God, no.
Okay.
You're looking at this thing going, this is like this is almost a comedy for adults.
Wow.
For real people.
From the Bad Santa people.
Yeah.
Wow. How about that?
And it craps out at the end, but that's okay.
Joel Schumacher has made a lot of good movies in his career, a lot of crappy movies. Nick Cage used to make good movies, now he only makes crappy movies. And Nicole Kidman, once upon a time, well, about as recent as a year ago, was an Oscar nominee. Put them all together, and you get one of the most unbelievably stupid movies you have ever seen. This is Trespass. Now, Trespass has Avi Lerner written all over it. Honestly, this is like Righteous Kill with a different flavor. This is just, Avi Lerner, of course, of New Image and Millennium Films. He and Danny Dimbort, his partner, basically just pack a lot of stars into these expensive projects that they sell heavily overseas, and they throw a lot of action in it, and they don't really care if it's any good. And in fact, this one is not. This is a horrible, horrible home invasion movie with Nick Cage is this diamond brokered international diamond dealer who neglects his wife to try and take care of their gigantic, enormous, in construction mansion. And they've got a daughter who, oh my gosh, she's such a rebel. Her parents don't understand her, and dad's never around, and she goes out and parties. And next thing you know, while the daughter sneaks out to go to a party, and Nick and his wife are just in the house getting ready to have a fight, a bunch of guys with masks and guns storm the house, and there's a whole crazy backstory to this. honestly, it's like it's got a whole Panic Room vibe to it, but every twist and turn just gets progressively stupider and stupider and stupider until at the end you just roll your eyes and you just go, really? Somebody actually wrote this? They didn't just make it up as it went along, and then somebody else decided to spend $35-40 million on this? What kind of a world do we live in? Oh, it's so frustrating. You roll your eyes continuously. Anyway, the thing that's really, really sad about this is there are a lot of really good actors in the supporting parts, and they're kind of wasted. But it's on Blu-ray. Gorgeous, gorgeous Blu-ray. The only reason to see this and the reason to really get it on Blu-ray, and by the way, it also comes with a DVD and a digital copy in the same package, but the only reason to watch this in Blu-ray is because the production design is so amazing. The mansion that they live in is fantastic. So I would say ignore the story, but definitely rent this to get some decorating ideas. Seriously, great decorating ideas.
That's as good a reason
the house
as
is
any.
beautiful. House is gorgeous.
Wade, Water for Elephants is...
I actually like this.
Really?
Believe it or not, I did. Yeah, I did. I like this. It's a big book, and this is one of those Fox 2000. Was this one of those Fox 2000 deals?
Yes.
I think it was, because Fox would never have greenlit this movie themselves. But Fox 2000 was able to do it under their deal. I actually really like this.
It's got a good cast. Reese Witherspoon, Christoph Waltz, Robert Pattinson. You know what? Kids love the Robert Pattinson with his Twilight and his...
And I love the elephants.
It's about a... She plays a circus performer who falls in love with a veterinarian. If I see another movie where a circus...
Christoph Waltz is her husband. He's the tyrant who runs the circus, right? And she's sort of she's imprisoned there. Well, not imprisoned, but she's sort of beholden to him, and he runs it like a Nazi Gestapo type outfit. And then Robert Pattinson.
But they're in love with the elephant.
Well, Robert Pattinson is he's the young hunky guy. He's playing James Dean in everything he does now. That's the problem. He evokes James Dean. And
they love the elephant. Wade.
That's it.
They fall in love with the elephant.
I know.
That's why they love each other. There's shared love for the elephant. This whole Robert Pattinson thing, I don't get it. Not on board. Don't get him.
He's
nothing. He just gives me nothing.
There's nothing in this film you haven't seen 100 times before. Reese Witherspoon basically got behind this as a producer and caused it to come to fruition. And it's perfectly entertaining. It's a
beautiful Blu-ray.
It's kind of a chick flick,
Kind of. It's a beautiful Blu-ray. I will give them that. Rodrigo Prieto
did an amazing job of photography.
Yes, and it is a beautiful Blu-ray, no doubt about it. That's about all I can recommend of Water for Chocolate.
Yes,
Water for Chocolate.
Water
for Elephants. Elephants eat chocolate.
I am a big, gigantic, massive fan of the Joy Luck Club. I think Joy Luck Club is one of the great American films of the last 30 years. I really do. And a lot of people think I'm just a crazy, hyperbolic lunatic for saying that, but I think it's amazing. Unfortunately, when you get Wayne Wang together with screenwriter Ron Bass with material that is not based on, that does not have the involvement of Amy Tan, who wrote the book for Joy Luck Club, in this case they're adapting a different novel. The result is not quite so spectacular. The novel in question here is Snowflower and the Secret Fan, and I so totally wanted to love this movie. I was thinking, oh, please let it be another Joy Luck Club, and unfortunately it didn't quite turn out that way. It's got its heart in the right place, but this kind of dual story that it jumps across two different periods of time doesn't work quite so well. It gets a little bit confusing, and they're trying to juxtapose a present-day story with one from centuries earlier about two women who kind of bond as sisters. And the cultural juxtaposition doesn't work the same way that it worked in the Joy Luck Club. You just don't feel that same connection because it's not like a family connection. It doesn't sort of really let the blood bonds dominate the emotions. And I don't know, it's well-intentioned, and it's nice to see Hugh Jackman pop in for a little bit, but I don't know, it just lost me. And Rachel Portman, by the way, beautiful score. She also wrote the music for the Joy Luck Club, much better score there. But, again, not bad. I don't want to rip on it, but it's...
No, you want to rip on it.
Yeah, I do. It's on Blu-ray and DVD. They sent it to us on both. I think the Blu-ray is good, but not as good as it should have been. So, Fox, get with that.
Wait, we got some Criterion, we got some Toy Story. What are we waiting for? You're burying the lead.
You know what?
We're burying the lead, like they say in the newspapers.
All right, let's do it. We got a giant pile of Blu-ray 3D stuff here that is newly released.
Everyone knows how much I love 3D.
Kids. Basically, all 3 Toy Story films and then Cars 2. And they have them now in these lenticular deals with the Blu-rays and the, whatever. These have been, these have been released previously, and I don't know why we have to see Toy Story 1 and 2 in 3D. 3 was enough, and I don't even think it benefited from the 3D. I saw Toy Story 3 both in 3D and 2D. I saw it in 3D IMAX, and then I went and saw it again 2 days later in 2D, and it's better in the 2D. There's some nice 3D effects in the opening scene, but that's it.
Well,
in the 2D.
Yeah, that's the thing. Especially, with Toy Story, there is no reason to see Toy Story, the original, in 3D.
No.
Because it was just not... I mean, it was amazing that they even got the characters on screen, let alone, optimize them for 3D.
Yeah.
So don't worry about Toy Story in 3D.
Here's what I also don't like about the 3D optimization, apart from the fact that it's narratively insignificant and it's distracting and it's pointless. It also takes away from the fact that you watch a certain progression of CG technology from 1 to 2 to 3. And I think that's important in appreciating the films. I think that's important in what makes them relevant as part of being part of film history. But I guess Bob Iger doesn't give a damn about that. He's just trying to crank up those quarterly profits as much as he can.
Although Toy Story 3 was a terrific film. It was a good capper to the series.
You notice how we're not talking about the 3D Blu-ray of Cars 2?
You know why? Because Cars 2 was the first Pixar film that sucks. It was done for purely mercenary reasons, and it pissed me off.
Yeah, it did me too. I'm not fond of that.
Nope. You know what? It's just, they have to race around the world. You know why they have to race around the world? Because worldwide box office means so much that they have to race around the world.
Are we going to say that Cannonball Run is a better movie?
Oh, yeah.
I see. There we go.
And you know what they did with Cars 2? What they would do is they would replace some of the voices with local actors. Like when they're in France,
yep,
they would replace some actors with local French names so that the films would do better in all these home territories. Purely mercenary. And you know what? The film got its butt kicked by critics, and it deserved it.
Lame.
Thank you.
We also have real quickly, we've got a Warner Archive release here. Remember, Warner Archive titles are available at warnerarchive.com, and they are made to order. They're MOD, manufacture on demand. That means they are DVD-Rs. They're not regular manufactured DVDs, so slightly lower quality. But most of these are cult films that you're going to just, it's almost like somewhere between rental and own. This is an Elizabeth Taylor film called Night Watch, which is a minor Elizabeth Taylor film directed by Brian Hutton. And I wouldn't run right out and get this. It's kind of, it's sort of cheesy. It tries to take her character from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and, kind of try to build on the eccentricity of it. This is Liz Taylor who's trying to, play, I guess, Shelley Winters parts at a certain point in her career. I don't know why she would want to do that, but... she's trying to be more of an actress, so there's a little bit of a suspense angle to this, and Lawrence Harvey is appropriately creepy. Lawrence Harvey never really got on track after Manchurian Candidate, did he? He was playing oddball roles from there on out. I know, and then he died soon after that, right? Or soon didn't Lawrence Harvey die after that, during that, soon after that? Something like that. Exactly. What are we talking about next, Wade? Let's go through some of these Miramax titles really quickly because this is certainly worth noting. Miramax, is releasing through Lionsgate and through Echo Bridge, and they got a couple of major Blu-ray titles they're releasing through Lionsgate. A couple of their really terrific titles from recent years, and then the kind of the stuff that they're just getting out there for the hell of it. That's all the Echo Bridge stuff. But they have released Blu-rays of Confessions of a Dangerous Mind and Copland. I'm not such a huge fan of Copland. I like the fact that Stallone tried to be it's like a Sidney Lumet throwback film, wouldn't you say, Copland, a little bit? I liked it. I liked it more than you did. Yeah, I love the Stallone. You blew it! I love the Stallone's trying to be serious again. I love the fact that it's got a real hardcore cast, all the old Scorsese leftovers. Harvey Keitel and Ray Liotta and Robert De Niro. But I don't know. It's a good Blu-ray, though. It looks real good on Blu-ray. Stallone put on some weight and... he gives a performance again for a change. I love the deaf stuff. when he's the ringing in his ears.
Yes.
That's a great sequence.
Well,
That's
that
a
was
terrific sequence.
That was directed by James Mangold, who would go on to direct 3:10 to Yuma.
Yep.
A terrific film.
Yeah. What's he done since?
He did the movie where the guy does the thing.
Oh, of course he did. And then Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, I just think is brilliant. I don't know why this didn't get more love from awards, from critics groups and the Oscars. Sam Rockwell, George Clooney, of course, directed this and did a hell of a job directing it. And Sam Rockwell plays Mark.
Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris, based on Chuck Barris's insane, crazy, fictitious autobiography in which he claims that he was always a spy while he was, he was moonlighting as a spy while he was a wacky television game show host. Sam Rockwell is phenomenal in this. I mean, all those Gong Show sequences, I almost forgot that I was watching an actor.
He's phenomenal in everything. Sam Rockwell rules.
He nailed it. Anyway, great Blu-ray, great film. You got to get it. This was one of my favorite films of the year. Drew Barrymore is fantastic. Julia Roberts, fantastic. George Clooney in that very creepy, brief role is fantastic. This film just rocks. I love it. The rest of the Miramax stuff we will go through real quickly right here. We've got a 6-movie pack from called Miramax Mysteries, which includes Crossing Guard, Night Listener, The Innocent, Heaven, Benefit of a Doubt, and The Human Stain. The only stuff worth watching here, really, Human Stain is okay. Heaven is terrific. Crossing Guard is great. The others are just totally negligible. One of those is The Innocent is also available independently. And we make mention of it only because it's a John Schlesinger film with an early role by Anthony Hopkins and some pretty good turns by Isabella Rossellini and Campbell Scott. But it's not even that early of a role by Anthony Hopkins. It's just a while back. But, gosh, it's like, 25 years ago this film was? Something like that?
That's a while back.
That is a while back. And Malena, which was not as good as Cinema Paradiso, but Giuseppe Tornatore definitely gave us a lovely, lovely performance from the wonderful Monica Bellucci, who just doesn't seem to ever age for some strange reason. This is a great little, kind of coming-of-age period film. The Journey of August King, great performance by Jason Patric and Tandy Newton. Wonderful period film directed by John Digan. Just absolutely terrific. Overlooked heavily in the early '90s. My Life So Far, yes, it's all right. Colin Firth and Irene Jacob are fine and lovely in it. It's a cute, sweet little British coming-of-age comedy. The Accidental Spy with Jackie Chan is not that great, unfortunately, but since I'm a Jackie completist, I am obligated to urge people to check it out. It's Jackie on the downslide. Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, a terrific Merchant Ivory film featuring then husband and wife Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. I think this was their last film together before he died, wasn't it? It was anyway. Great performances by both of them. Really a beautiful film, kind of looking at the relationship of this couple during particularly the wartime of the 30s and 40s. In the Weeds, a movie I had never seen before. I had no idea this even was in the Miramax library. Molly Ringwald and a pre-Grey's Anatomy Ellen Pompeo, along with Eric Bogosian of all people. This is like a strictly for New Yorkers, nightlife New Yorkers. A Month by the Lake is a lovely film with great performances by Vanessa Redgrave and Uma Thurman. Another one of those classic Miramax kind of, it's a period film set in a beautiful villa and wonderful romantic things transpire. And then lastly, the horribly misbegotten House of the Spirits, based on the Isabelle Allende novel. Real misfire from director Billy August, who just before this had won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival for the incredible Ingmar Bergman scripted kind of semi-autobiography, The Best Intentions, which was my first year actually at the Cannes Film Festival. Really a great cast here. Meryl Streep, Winona Ryder, Jeremy Irons, Glenn Close, Antonio Banderas, but not a good movie, unfortunately. It just doesn't get the magical realism thing down. Let's see. Oh, man. Docs are foreign. What do you say? This is a great doc.
No, there's two good docs there. We got to do docs.
Yeah, let's do docs. Okay, we'll knock out the docs. Yeah. Tabloid is a terrific documentary, but it creeps the hell out of me. Errol Morris is sort of America's preeminent documentarian, and he made a really freak trip here with Tabloid. Now, this is hardly objective news reporting by any means. This is the story of Joyce McKinney, who is certifiably bat-whack crazy. This woman is off her nut loony. She is insane. She's famous for a couple of reasons. One, you find out later in the film, which is much more recent, but the one she's really famous for is because she developed an obsession on this guy, this schlubby guy, at one point in her life when she was living in Utah, and this guy went to serve a Mormon mission, and she figured that was not acceptable, so she enlisted some bodyguards and flew over to London and basically kidnapped him and held him hostage during this bizarre, sex kidnapping, and it became this gigantic, phenomenal tabloid story in the UK. Is this woman is she jilted? Is she crazy? And what makes this so interesting is not that they actually give you his point of view, because he refused to be interviewed for the movie. What's interesting is it gets into and she's interviewed all over the place in this thing. And by the way, did you know that when Errol Morris was screening this around the country, she would randomly just show up at screenings and jump up on stage when he was doing his Q&A?
Creepy.
She's insane. Now she's stalking the filmmaker that made a movie about her being a stalker. It is creepy. But no, what gets into the kind of duel between different British tabloids and how they took different points of view with respect to her story is really fascinating. And one of them, the way they came to L.A. and just dug up all the dirt on her past, unbelievable. So I recommend this, but it's not journalism. It's kind of journalistic sensationalism just because it's dealing with such a bizarre subject.
Wade, the other good doc we'll talk about is Page One, Inside the New York Times. This is all about the inner workings of the New York Times. The New York Times has been taking a big hit in prestige and circulation, but then again, so has a lot of
borderline bankrupt.
So has a lot of daily newspapers. That's true. Well,
Chicago Tribune.
Well, the LA Times sucks. The hero of Page One, if there is one, is David Carr, one of their columnists, and David Carr just comes across as just a hilarious raconteur and personality, and just a fascinating guy. So, Carr, who used to be a crack addict and is now one of the best columnists in the country.
Yeah. He's
sort of the hero of the story. But otherwise, there's a whole lot of cool little glimpses into the newsroom and how stories are developed and how papers put together. And it's great because it's timely and it's timeless. It's timeless in that it shows you how newspapers put together. It's timely because this is a very dangerous and specific time in the New York Times' history. And Page One definitely captures it, directed by Andrew Rossi. This is good stuff. This might be nominated for an Oscar this year. For Best Documentary. There's a whole bunch of special features, including one with Carl Bernstein from the Watergate whole dealie. And it's good stuff. Liked it a lot. Page One.
The Art of Filmmaking is a 6-disc collection from First Run Features. And it includes the following documentaries: Tales from the Script, Director's Life Behind the Camera, which we talked about recently as well, Light Keeps Me Company, which is a sensational documentary about Sven Nykvist, the great Ingmar Bergman cinematographer, Capturing Reality, The Art of the Documentary, which also talks a little bit about Errol Morris, we just talked about, and Lavender Limelight, Lesbians in Film. So this is, these do not all necessarily dovetail together, but it's a nice kind of gift box containing documentaries about filmmaking, all of them from the First Run Features library, and they're all good. Light Keeps Me Company alone is almost worth the purchase of this.
Wade, HBO did a documentary on Jerry Weintraub, who is a legendary
it's really good
producer. It's really
this
good
is
stuff.
a really good doc.
Weintraub produced movies like Nashville
Karate
and
Kid.
Oh God and Karate Kid, Cruising, Diner. Good stuff.
But not a guy. He didn't do the Bruckheimer thing. And by the way, I'm saying this because
and the Ocean's films.
I'm actually kind of saying this because I'm quoted in an article recently. I'm name dropping myself now. There's an article online about Jerry Weintraub that I'm quoted in. And the thing about him is he never did the Bruckheimer thing. He was never like the super producer, the Scott Rudin thing, where he's just acquiring projects and attaching his name to stuff, and suddenly he becomes a franchise unto himself, and he does the branding thing. He never did that. He just wanted to be a guy who just produced some good movies, and he took a personal interest in each and every one of them. And it's a good, solid bunch of films, but it's not like, oh my gosh, he produced 80 films in his life.
No, he comes
stuff.
across as an old school guy.
Yeah.
He loves talent. He loves the script. He loves the deal.
He loves the process.
You know what? They don't really make him like him anymore.
No, they don't.
And of course, if you watch the doc, which is terrific, there's interviews with Bruce Willis and George Clooney, Barbara Bush, Brad Pitt, Elliot Gould. It's really good stuff. His Way, a portrait of Hollywood legend Jerry Weintraub. There are a couple special features, and it is a DVD, not a Blu-ray. Not that you'd ever need it on Blu-ray.
And then lastly, before we cut on out, is Warren Miller's Wintervention, the Collector's Edition Deluxe Blu-ray. Look, Warren Miller, man, it's just all about the skiing. If you love skiing, if you just want to see crazy, wicked, awesome ski photography from all over the world, from everywhere from Norway to New Zealand to Austria to Canada, boy, you just get it here. And honestly, this is the only way to see it. It is fantastic on Blu-ray. That's from Shout Factory. If you're not a skier, if you're not into it, not going to care. But it's fun. It's really a lot of fun. And with that, we are done. We will see you next week, and we're going to cover the foreign films then. Boy, we got some good foreign next week. Really good stuff. See ya.